Hyun Chun arrives, curious about why he was called. Mujin, focused on Hyun Guang, asks the abbot to wait a moment until he's finished. To the abbot's surprise, Hyun Guang, with a bit of support from Mujin, manages to move from lying down to sitting up. Hyun Guang, amused, asks if Mujin is working on his back since he did his legs the previous day. Abbot Hyun Chun, shocked by this progress, anxiously asks if it's safe for him to move so much. Hyun Guang chuckles, noting that he feels much better than before, even though he's only moving a bit. Abbot Hyun Chun reflects on the remarkable progress in Hyun Guang's health, recalling how even slight movement once left him breathless and in pain. His body, nearly lifeless, was unable to move without severe discomfort. Yet now, with some support, he managed to sit up on his own. Later, in a nearby room, Haidam and Hyun Gong arrive, shocked by the abbot's confirmation of the treatment's effectiveness. Hyun Gong asks if the treatments are genuinely working, and Haidam also inquired in surprise if Mujin provided some support. Hyun Guang was able to sit up mostly by himself. Abbot Hyun Chun acknowledges the results, noting the visible improvements within a month, just as Mujin had predicted. Haidam, still surprised, admits he was skeptical of using unfamiliar techniques, yet the treatment is indeed proving effective. Outside the door, Mujin arrives and, feeling nervous, overhears their conversation. Hyun Gong suggests that, since they were summoned right after Hyun Guang's treatment, they should ask Mujin for further details once he arrives, and Haidam agrees. The older monks have quickly gained trust in Mujin due to the visible improvements in Hyun Guang's health, but Mujin himself isn't fully satisfied with the progress. He thinks that the real challenge begins now. His goal is to help Hyun Guang regain enough strength to walk independently. Mujin has been guiding Hyun Guang's treatment and rehabilitation, helping him practice sitting up to strengthen his abdomen and supporting him as he stands and takes a few steps, similar to physical therapy for a recovering patient. Although Hyun Guang's joints and ligaments have partially healed, his years of immobility have led to severe muscle atrophy. Mujin realizes that without building up his muscles, further treatment would be ineffective, like filling a pot with a hole at the bottom. To prevent potential joint issues from re-emerging, Mujin knows it's critical to help Hyun Guang regain muscle strength swiftly. Realizing an important point about Hyun Guang's treatment, Mujin enters the room and announces that he needs to discuss his grandfather's progress. Abbot Hyun Chun, Haidam, and Hyun Guang, who had seen positive signs in Hyun Guang's health, express concern, asking if there's an issue despite his improvement. Mujin explains that while Hyun Guang's recovery is progressing, a complication has arisen in the next phase of his treatment. Mujin clarifies that although Hyun Guang is gradually regaining strength, his joint cartilage has deteriorated significantly due to age. Ideally, the solution would be to build muscle around the joints to support the cartilage. However, in Hyun Guang's current weakened state, any excessive movement intended to strengthen his muscles could risk placing too much pressure on his joints, potentially leading to injury. Abbot Hyun Chun, trusting Mujin's skill, encourages him to share his solution openly, while Haidam praises Mujin's competence and assures him they will listen without doubt. As they press him for an answer, Mujin finally states that his grandfather must eat meat to recover properly. This response shocks the monks, darkening their expressions as they look at Mujin in anger, as eating meat goes against Shaolin principles. The need for meat in building muscle remains controversial, as many argue that a healthy, muscular body can be maintained on a vegetarian diet. When he was Choi Kang-hyuk, Mujin studied exercise science and learned that muscle growth on a vegetarian diet is possible, but requires complex dietary planning. A key factor is the body's ability to absorb proteins. Animal-based proteins tend to be more easily absorbed. Given Hyun Guang's age and limited ability to eat, meat-based proteins would be more effective for his recovery. However, in the Shaolin Temple, a respected institution with a 1,000-year history, eating meat is strictly forbidden. Haidam and Hyun Gong, unable to contain their anger, unleash their energy-infused voices, shouting at Mujin for his impudence and suggesting meat consumption within the Shaolin Temple. The intensity of their inner energy causes Mujin physical discomfort, forcing him to cover his ears and think, unsurprised, that their reaction is even stronger than expected. Abbot Hyun Chun, remaining calm, asks why Mujin insists that meat is necessary for muscle gain, pointing out that Mujin himself achieved a muscular physique without eating meat. Nervously recalling that he did consume meat during his intensive training days, Mujin explains to the abbot that while he did gain strength without it, beans and mushrooms are still just substitutes and cannot fully compare to the nutritional effects of eating meat. Abbot Hyunchun suggests that Hyun Guang could simply consume high-quality beans and mushrooms. Mujin responds that his grandfather